Okay, so today I'm going to have my second chat with the very beautiful Amy Valentine from America. And we are going to keep this talk today about all the incredible things that are coming towards us in a positive way on the planet. And, there's so many things we could have talked about, but we are keeping this conversation sort of very intentionally high vibe. And on that note, I'm going to read to you these words behind my screen here, Amy. Cosmic, rainbow, unicorn, dolphin, whale, hummingbird, dragon, mushroom, fairy, butterfly, crystal children, high vibes only. I love it. So tell me, you said you saw a hummingbird the other day. I'd love to hear.
Oh my gosh. I love birds and I love nature. And I just was literally just watering, just the plants outside. And it was like, it's like you hear it's like a bzzz, you can hear it before you can see them. And I froze. And I'm like, he went right by me, went to the plant, kind of buzzed around, and then off into the trees.
Oh, how adorable. They're only tiny, aren't they?
They're so tiny, and they can fly forward and backward
And stationary too.
and stationary. Yes, because they're exactly when they're feeding, their wings are going, going, going.
Oh my gosh, they are so cute.
And
I love
so
it.
I feel like nature, it's not just always being positive or just having high vibes. It's, I think it's nature has resistance, right?
Yeah.
And without some resistance, we don't really have balance. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that are depressing that's going on right now, right?
Mm, mm.
But yeah, I try to think about hummingbirds and nature and how that's kind of in balance, so to speak, with some, maybe not so fun elements as well.
So it's also that ability to transmute. Well, it's not always just fear porn too. I mean, there is obviously, negative things that are truly happening in the world. And so it's being able to have the ability to transmute those things into the light without really dropping your frequency and going into a really sort of like a negative state with things. Yeah, this is what all the golden age work that I'm doing with Ian Welsh is all about. It's about, maintaining that high vibe in the midst of all that. Actually, I should just mention before we start too, there's a workshop coming up on the Thursday, the 13th of October, and there's a few spaces left. So I would recommend to anyone that wants to join that to really get in quickly because it's nearly sold out. And that's our fourth workshop that will have been sold out. So just letting people know. But I can see the demand for that work because it teaches you to do all the things that we're just discussing, and how to stay in the highest potential vibration. So apart from nature, how tell me how you navigate the energies to stay in that high vibe. And it's not like you say being sort of inauthentic, but it's being able to manage the whole aspect of everything. So being aware of everything that's going on, but then being able to still transmute it.
I think that's the key. I think that I don't always stay high vibration. However, my intention is. And even just the other day, I'm in the United States, as you know, in Pennsylvania, and we had 5 days straight of rain. And that was due to the Hurricane Ian that
Oh,
was down south in Florida,
yeah.
right? So it came up our way. And, I felt it. I felt kind of yucky. But you
Mm.
know what I do? I let myself feel whatever I'm feeling.
Ah.
I don't try to like be positive or I just let myself feel everything. And even just hopefully this will help anybody listening. I was on the phone with a girlfriend, and when you wear the ear things, while you're on the phone.
Yes.
Well, I had my ear things on, and I got into a little argument with my mom, who was in the kitchen in the house. And I never snap like that. And I took my earbuds out and I snapped, and I went back and I talked to my friend, and I said, I'm really sorry. She's like, wow, I haven't heard you talk like that in a really long time. So yes, so I'm not always in a high vibe. I just really have learned through all my spiritual work, and that it's okay to feel bad, but like you said, transmute it. Not because I feel like I did something wrong. I just let myself off the hook. I asked for forgiveness, and I said, I forgive my mom. She forgives me. It was just high energy, whatever. So it's not about sticking your head in the sand to what's going on around you personally or globally. It's about acknowledging it and then choosing again.
Exactly. I think that is such a brilliant point, that, anytime we suppress our emotions or pretend that we're not feeling things, it's still there in our body. We're still feeling it, but it's just we're ignoring it and pretending it's not there, but it's still actually there. So it has to be identified and acknowledged in order to also transmute any emotions that are not serving us. And so to be able to fully 100% feel the emotion in your body and allow yourself to feel it, when you do that, it's sort of like there's a release valve that happens, and you release the sort of charge, the emotional charge behind it, and then it allows it to sort of wash over you and transmute. So allowing yourself to fully feel it allows it to move forward, like in a wave, when the wave continues and then it goes up in a crescendo and then it breaks, so allowing yourself to feel it fully, the extreme, or even if it's, feels painful or something that we don't want to feel in that way, we allow it then to just sort of dissolve and disappear. And anytime you don't feel it and you squash the emotions, it actually just builds within you, and that can create things like depression, because it just builds up in your sacral chakra, in your stomach. And every new depressive thought builds upon it, and if you're not addressing it and you're not feeling it, and then it can become quite numbing and paralyzing if you don't really allow yourself to feel the emotions. And we're in these vehicles, these bodies, so that we can experience emotions, in these 3D realities, so we can experience emotions, or they wouldn't exist for us. There's other realities where the beings don't have these emotional bodies and they don't feel, but we do, and there's a purpose behind that.
I think that's beautifully said. And, as you were talking, it made me think of an experience I had in 2008. I had a very dear friend of mine that I worked with. At the time, I was working for a startup company, and he committed suicide. And that was why, because he wasn't letting himself feel his emotions. And, he actually hid them by being funny. And the last time I saw him was for a work thing, and he just, whatever, it was parked on one side of the lot, I was on the other, and we parted ways, and he turned around, and it was so strange. It was like a movie. He turned around and he said, "Hey, AV," he used to call me AV.
Yes.
"Hey, AV, if you ever need to talk, call me. I'm here."
Wow.
And 2 days later, he committed suicide. And I was absolutely devastated. I cried every day for a year. And that's why I have a different understanding now, of negativity and
You're allowing
darkness.
yourself to feel. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just have a different understanding of death. And that's why as a coach, I try to teach people, feel it all, but yes, intend your gifts, intend that feeling of love within you and gratitude, because we are so fortunate to be here, approaching the golden age, the ascension. And I know, I'm not saying there's not horrible things going on in the planet. There absolutely is, personally and, globally. But yes, this is just my little attempt to keep things as high as possible.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant advice. I think we all need to hear it at the minute. And just to ask you before we get into, the positive aspects of what's coming, do you feel that he's still with you, and that do you still interact with him or communicate with him on the other side?
All the time.
Oh,
He started talking to me. Now, this is, I always believed in something. I never really named it, but it proved it to me when he crossed over, because he started talking to me in songs, in music.
beautiful.
And he was doing that prior to him taking his life. I just didn't know what he was trying to tell me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so when he crossed over, the stories when you hear, I literally had a CD, like back when we listened to CDs, on my shelf that my girlfriend Jessie gave me. I listened to it one time and stuck it back. It was Dave Matthews Band. It was like a live version of Dave Matthews Band. And I swear to you, something made me go to the shelf, pick that off. And, I was in my little apartment, and there was a song on there called The Maker. And when I never listened to that song before. And I looked at the words, I listened over, and that was Frank, my friend, talking to me, telling me. And if anybody out there knows that song, it's this beautiful
I'll
song.
put the link below.
Okay, good. Because it's called The Maker, and it's all about, basically, I was blind and I could not see. And that's what it talks about, how, and I don't know who wrote the song. I know Dave Matthews sings it, but he didn't write it. But he talks to me all the time. He sends me messages. The day that he crossed over, I had fallen asleep with my cell phone next to my bed. And this has never happened before or since. I flew out of bed and I grabbed my phone all groggy, and it was 7:37 a.m. And a few hours later, my boss called me. It was a Saturday. He never called me on a Saturday. And he told me, and I just knew. It was that split second before the words I could process.
Yeah.
I already knew.
Yeah.
And so I went on a voracious quest to learn everything I could about our soul, as much as we could know about spirituality and depression, because I just knew. He just told me things. He said it's not even, it's like a download. I hate that word because it's so confusing. What does download mean? It for me, I just sensed it. Like I felt it. He felt trapped in his body.
Yes. I know other instances of this, and they sort of can go into a black hole and they don't know how to get out. But there is, if anyone's listening and feeling like that, there are ways always to get out. So don't feel that there is no alternative. There always is. And but I totally hear everything that you're saying, and how beautiful that he spoke to you in music. And I find when I've gone through difficult times in my life, I've always had songs that have come to me telling me what's happening, why it's happening, and giving me solace through that time. And so yeah, songs are always special for me in that way too. Yeah.
And you have a beautiful voice, so you can sing, not only listen, right? You can sing, and that is vibrationally high too, isn't it, when you sing?
Absolutely. It's good for me to sing for my own energy, to raise my frequency, but I do have an energy in my voice that's very healing, and people spontaneously cry and things when I sing, because they're actually transmuting emotions and things. That's what it's doing. And I might put actually a song at the end of our chat today, since you mentioned it anyway. And any chance I get to put some, music out there is great. And I do think sound healing is an answer for so many people at the moment. Music and sound. It's really funny as we're talking. We probably can't hear it on the microphone, but a frog's just started going really loud. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's right next to the window.
I couldn't hear it. I think he said, yes, put a little song at the end of the video.
He just piped up right then.
And he said, make sure it's Medyhne's song and not Amy's singing. I only sing for myself.
Well, we all have our areas.
Yes. Oh, and that is such a beautiful, that just made me think, whatever feels natural is for you. So if it's song, if it's books, if it's meditation, if it's yoga, if it's nature, or all of the above, it's right for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's everyone, every single person on the planet has also their unique gift that they're here, that they can give to the earth in only the way that they can give it. Nobody else can give it in the same way that they can give it. And being able to really identify your gifts, and usually you can have that awareness of what they are, because when you do them, they feel joyful and they raise your energy and they raise your frequency, and it feels really good. So that's always an indicator that's you're on track, when you're expressing your gift. So everyone's got something. And even if for some people it's just their energy in the world, that they don't have to do anything, they just have to be. So it's very different for every person, and everyone has a gift.
we were programmed out of our gifts, right, on purpose. And I think by people that didn't even know what they were doing. They were just following the program. And I
think some of the nefarious ones are at the top of the pecking order, were sort of pretty sort of intentional. But anyway, keep going. Sorry.
Oh no, you're absolutely right. I meant like on our level, like teachers, yes, or
true,
like on the bottom end, yes, of the chain of command or whatever. Yeah. And I feel like, we're all have that God-given intuition and gift, and we're talked out of it. And then
yes,
we have to remember, and this is the time of awakening, and this is, and not that any other time wasn't, but now the energies, because of the rising of the energies, it's so important. And I've noticed, I don't know with your circle, but I've noticed so many people that I know, either through coaching or friends and family, it's almost like the shit's hitting the fan in their life. It's like they can't hide anymore.
It's true. It's true. And I know quite a few light workers who are going through huge like health issues and things like that too at the moment. It's all just coming up. I wanted to say in regard to your point too, that when we develop our new systems of, I don't like the word education because that's an old paradigm, but the new systems of learning for children, I really feel that they are going to identify what the children's inherent gifts and skills are, and they're going to bring them out, in the new systems of learning, and they're going to focus on them, get the kids to just fully express them and explore them and bring these gifts out to the world from the younger stage. And these are all models for the future. Even Anastasia, in the Anastasia books from the Ring of Cedars series, and she has a lot of focus on how the new earth is going to be and how the children will be really sort of honored in the new earth. She talks about that as well. But so many, even I've been reading about other planetary systems other than ours and other civilizations, and they focus with their systems too on bringing out the real beauty and the potential and the gifts from the youngest possible age in their souls. that they're working with. So I think that's going to be really powerful, and it is part of, you know, the new energies of what we're going into. So let's explore what it feels like is happening at the minute in terms of potentials that could happen. For example, many people are talking about the solar flash, and to me, of course, it seems a little, what's the word, a little like it could be something that is a made-up story or a little dramatic or something like that. But when I ask inwardly and I say, is this something that could potentially happen, I get a very strong yes. And then I ask other people and they say they also get a yes too. So, you know, this is something that just could happen at any moment, that just happens, and it upgrades automatically every single you know, being on the planet. What are your thoughts on that? And do you, when you ask, you know, inwardly, what do you get for the solar flash?
I get a yes. And I also get, how do you know it hasn't happened yet on a smaller scale?
Yes, in increments, you mean?
Yeah, I don't know what I mean. That's just what I got. I was like, well, how do you know it hasn't happened in some capacity? That was what I heard and felt. So I don't know. But yes, I believe, and you know, I think if you can imagine it, it's real in some plane of existence.
Yes.
Does that mean I can do a research project on it and prove it to you? No. But yes, I think the solar flash, I think that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And if enough of us believe in that, then we can bring that potential
Yes.
into existence.
Yes. I know that Ian Welsh, who you know I'm working very closely with at the moment, he believes it's not really something that isn't necessary anymore, because we've already done enough, even through the Golden Age affirmations, to raise the collective consciousness of the planet. And so, of course, that is definitely possible too, you know, just by you know, being in the energies of the Golden Age, you know, we can also potentially bypass the need for that to happen. So yeah, these are all just, you know, potentials and things, and everyone can go in for themselves and ask, does this feel like an alignment for me? But I totally get what you're saying about all these upgrades that have just consistently been happening for, you know, quite a while now, and we're getting them all the time, but because they're a bit smaller, they're not quite as noticeable. But sometimes when you feel sort of tired, or you feel triggered or something like that, that can be an upgrade, because your body's trying to assimilate it and adjust it in your own system.
Well, and the law of opposites, it's not a law, but you know, as above, so below, that's what that means. So when you have like you said, like if you're tired or you're having physical symptoms, we're just taught to think, oh, there's something wrong. Oh my gosh. But no, what if it's just your body, like you said, getting used to some new energy and new thought patterns? You know, so I believe that. And you know, Dolores Cannon said, according to her research, all of this awakening really started in 2003. And when she says started, she means it was palpable.
Yes.
And it would crescendo up until, I think she said 2024 or 2026. I'm not sure on that. I'd have to look it up again. But yeah, I mean, we don't know. And I saw Ian talk with Mark Atwood real quick today, because Mark Atwood's in the States.
Yes.
And he was talking about how we're at 95%. Now, I don't know exactly what Ian means by that, the consciousness being 95% in the golden age.
Well, he says that there's 95% of the energy is of humanity is holding the energy of the golden age, or it's having an effect of 95% touching people. I'm probably not describing it in the ideal way, but it means that the 5% that's to go, if 5% more of people start doing the golden age affirmations, or feeling the energies of the golden age in the way that he recommends, and we get to the 100%, that at that point it will shift the consciousness automatically into the new golden age, and that nothing else will need to be done. Everyone will be upgraded in the same way that the solar flash, basically says it's going to happen.
So he's basically saying, if I'm understanding correctly, that it's like you either are or you're not in the golden age. It's just like vibration. You either are or you're not in every moment, and it's always moving and changing. But once you reach that certain understanding, even if you have a bad day or you get a pain or a sick, you can't regress. Regression is really a misunderstanding. Even though you can have a bad day and it feels like you've regressed, you really can't. Is that what is that what he's saying?
I would say so. It's just, I guess, the energy of what has already been done in terms of anchoring the golden age energies is at such a point that it's impacting 95% of the population. And then when we get to the 100%, that will be the shift that is just all where all, for example, health issues will be transmuted, because it's a new high frequency and we'll all be in perfect health and everything like that. So yes, roll on.
I'm excited for that. I am really excited for that.
Yeah, me too. There's so many people at the moment that are dealing with these things, but as we say, it's not just about the Monsanto foods, or I don't know if I can say that, with the GMO foods and things like that. There's also all this stuff that we're assimilating that's creating these strange energetic things in our bodies. So, it's a very positive thing in that way. And so I think people can take heart that, it's not just, it's not just.
Can I just say, I saw one of the interviews, I think it was with you, Medyhne, and Ian said, when he has his wine and it's not Merlot, he blesses it for the golden age.
He sure does. That's right. Yeah, he buys it, doesn't taste so good, and then he does this special thing over it, and then it changes the flavor. Amazing. Yeah.
Well, that's the power we have, and I think that's the takeaway, that what we're really talking about today, that no, we're not denying that there's GMO and there's other things going on. There is, but when we bless ourselves and bless our food and bless our wine, that's no joke. That really does change the chemistry. When I drink water, like when I go to bed at night, I bring a big thing of water with me. And when I take a drink, I just bless it as I'm drinking. Thank you, water, for nourishing my body and my soul. Yeah. I mean, that's really, if people just started doing that and not trying to heal yourself, but just honoring your body and honoring everything you're eating and drinking, your body knows what to do. Even with the toxins, it will release.
Absolutely. I can think of an example of what you're talking about that's incredibly powerful, that illustrates the power of intention. And people will listen to it and they'll go, oh my gosh, and they might be skeptical, but I can promise you it happened. So there was, I work with a beautiful light worker team. And in the last 2 years, we've had 2 instances of people in comas. And the light worker team have got on and they've sent healing, energetic healing, with the intention that that person is, in perfect health and whole. And in both cases, they've miraculously come out of the coma with no other reason of anything happening other than the healing being sent to them. Twice this has happened. And I just had another incredible example of this happening too, with the power of these healings. So when you focus your powerful healing intention on somebody, that they're in perfect health and that they've transmuted any sort of illness or health issues, I can tell you that is incredible. And the other example that I heard the other day was too that, I mention often that we have a soul healing group that does healing for the planet. And somebody said in a powerful, famous quote that if 100 people had got together and they had prayed for peace prior to World War II, it could well have been averted. Just 100 people. That's the power.
Well, and let's talk about why that is. So any skeptics, because I love being skeptical as well and questioning things, because you should always think for yourself. But the reason that is actually scientific, because in a way, because it's every potential exists. And when you observe energy, it changes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not a scientist, but you understand what I'm saying? It's like that old philosophy. If the tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? Well, no, because there's no eardrum to hear that vibration. Yes, it makes a vibration, but there's not an eardrum to hear it. So it didn't make a sound, right? So that's energy. So that woman or people that were in the coma, and that energy of the thought and the feeling, that was the lost gospel of Thomas. When you put thought and feeling together, right? The heart chakra, you marry the top chakras and the bottom chakras, then the new potential. It's not that the coma disappeared. It was that they went into the mountain move. They went into another potential.
So that's like a timeline, like another timeline. Yes.
Because yes, and we can do that. And we've been programmed out of that ability, but we all have, because we've been taught that God or healing and all that is outside of us. No, that if you go to a healer, that healer is facilitating that energy, and you believe so much in the healer or the program or the modality that you heal yourself.
That's right. That's right. It's like when, you get a client that comes to, if you have a client that comes in for some reason, they're skeptical or they're cynical or they're just testing it out, they're not going to get the same benefits and results as someone who comes in, who's open, that just trusts that it's all going to manifest beautifully, and they've created that themselves. And then they say it's the healer that's or the person who's working on them, that it's from them, but it's not. It's from themselves.
And I can tell you from experience, after my friend crossed over and took his own life, I sought out Reiki. I mean, you name it, I tried it, right? And it did work temporarily. But what really got my understanding is, and I would go to all that again. I had a session with you, and you told me, which was so amazing. At the end of our session, you said to me, your gift this lifetime is that you can hold your ground in a lot of drama and chaos and be totally undisturbed by it. And when you said that to me, I'm like, she's the real deal. Because I would have never thought of that if you asked me that question, like, oh, what's your gift? I would have never, but when you said it, you know how you get that hit?
Yes, it tingles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, she totally tapped into my energy. She's the real deal. And so it's a gift. So we're not saying don't go to healers. No, go.
Yeah.
But know that every potential timeline is within you.
Absolutely. 100%. And I don't think it's a bad thing to sometimes people think, oh, I'm being weak if I go to someone else, or, I should be able to deal with this myself. But, we're all going through the most massive transition that the earth's ever been through. And so, give yourself a break. If you need extra, someone to help support you through that process, then, just go with your guidance and do it, and don't judge yourself for that, and just allow yourself, to have that gift and give yourself that gift. I think it's really, really important.
And you're so right, because this is why people get depressed and sad, because they stop gifting themselves with the basics, with just following what feels good to them on a day-to-day basis. We're so taught to think that you have to achieve and you got to work hard, and that's the hard way. I mean, but the aligned way is going within and consulting your inner guidance.
Absolutely.
And it's not easy. I mean, I'm not saying this is like always easy to do, but it is a loving, more loving way to care for yourself.
Absolutely. I'm feeling really thirsty today, so
So am I.
water, water, water. So must be going through some sort of shift.
And I hope you can't hear it, but there's fireworks going on outside. I don't know what's.
Maybe there's, oh, that's interesting, because that's symbolic of a celebration, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
But we're in October. I don't know. Maybe they're celebrating. I don't know. We're ramping up to the I guess the big reveals. I don't know.
Wow. I remember once many years ago, I was in a relationship that wasn't really serving me anymore, and I was being told to get out of it. And I had a dream that, and I saw in the house, that it was really messy, and it wasn't a good environment. And then I saw myself stepping out of the door and across the road was this carnival with fireworks and everything. And it was symbolic of me going to a more joyful sort of space in my life by letting go of that relationship. And it was interesting that there were fireworks in that.
Yeah, and that is a beautiful dreams symbolism, because we're always getting in our dreams, we don't have any resistance, right? So
I just did a video on dreams.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Oh,
I just posted it. It's amazing. I get so much from my dreams.
Yeah, and if we're open and not judging ourselves, we can get so much information about what's going on in our waking life from our dreams.
That's so true. That's so true. So let's talk about more about what we think are positive things coming up in our field to do with the shifting toward the golden age. So what else do you see, or what do people around you talk about that they feel that's coming?
Well, I only have a handful of people that I really talk about this with, but all of us think that, I don't want to get emotional. So when people aren't having to work hard to put food on the table, and they can share their gifts, and they're financially free, and their energy, those bad moments are going to be few and far between. And yeah, we need some of that contrast. We're all going to be serving humanity. Why? Because we can love and serve ourselves first, and then we can feel that, just when you love yourself, I don't mean that kitschy, like, oh, love yourself. And, no, I mean, really love yourself, like for everything. Then you can truly give your heart to other people. Yeah. And we all can share our gifts. What I'm not good at, you know what I mean? Like, if you're into, I don't know, I can't think of anything right now, but we're all going to need to support each other. And there's not going to be that competition.
Yeah, totally. I mean, what a dead weight it has been to be able to just wanting to survive by having enough money to be able to, feed yourself, and so many people in that position. So I think if everyone that's watching the video could take a couple of minutes just to feel the energy of what it feels like to be free from that weight, because, once we all feel it, we bring it into the physical reality, we draw it in. So, that feeling of, oh, I don't even have to think about, money or how I'm going to support myself, because it's taken care of. I've got, however the new, whatever they call it, the quantum system, whatever it is, however that manifests in a reality as a replacement for the old system, it will mean that we don't have to consider that anymore. And we can put all, like you say, all our attention on the beautiful things that we're here to give in the world. So just everyone who's listening, take time in the day to feel the energy of how that feels, because that is a whole new paradigm to what we've been existing in.
It's going to erase all the money abundance blocks that all of us, I don't care, I'm not talking about amounts of money, because even millionaires sometimes feel poor.
They do. And then they're worrying how they can keep their money and how not let it dissipate. And sometimes it can be more stressful for them than, than just having a smaller amount. Yeah.
That's right. So yes, it's such a hard concept, but you're right. If you go within and feel the essence of what money and abundance means, it's freedom. And so that's the key to everything, is trying to just suspend what you're seeing in your world, in your three-dimensional world, and go within, like you're saying, Medyhne. And that's what I've been doing. And I can tell you from experience, when I'm scared and it doesn't manifest. But when I just go and I feel the gratitude within, what does freedom feel like? What does love feel like? What's the essence of it? My whole vibration changes. And then I feel that, like that child, you were talking about children earlier, that childlike wonder.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder how it's going to come.
Yes, exactly. So you put yourself in the vibration of what it feels to already have that. And then you match the energy of it, and it comes
and you persist.
Yes.
You persist in that assumption. You don't have to feel it all the time. Just persist that it's already done.
Yes.
Just like that lady was, or that, in your prayer group, the two people in a coma, and now they're out of the coma. Mm-hmm. There's nothing too big for universal divine love. Nothing.
No. And as I'm looking out on the view as we're talking, because I face the window, and I used to sit in country Victoria and envisage myself on the water with a palm tree. And I'd see it all the time because I love water and I love palm trees. And as I look out, I'm looking at the water, at a palm tree. It's just exactly what I was envisaging all the time when I was in Victoria, thinking, oh, I wish I could, live on the, and I always thought, how's that going to happen? Because, I haven't got multi-millions to buy a property on the water, but it's just manifested. So yeah, I know it's very, once you get the swing of it, it gets easier too. The more you do it, the more easy it is to do, and it becomes like a bit like second nature. So
and for everybody that's listening, what Medyhne is saying is, feel. You don't have to know what it's like to live on an island. Just feel what you would feel.
Yes.
Happy, fun, whatever. It's different for everybody.
Warm.
Right?
Because I was in a cold environment, I was feeling warm.
Yeah. Right. Well, and we need that contrast to help us clarify, well, what's our new desire?
Yes, absolutely. Very good. So, okay, so the golden age, when we get there, which we're hoping it's not too far away, what's your thoughts on how far away? Because it feels like so many of us talk about that we're on a bit of a precipice for something huge that's just around the corner. It's not far. It's really not far. And in the sort of scheme of things, in the scheme of a soul's evolution, it's like nothing. So how's your thoughts on the feelings of how soon we're going to get to this incredible new earth, new energy?
Well, let's talk about time. Is an earthly construct, right? We need it, right? We need linear time, but it really is made up by us. So I feel, now this is pure, just you asking, I feel by 2032, we're going to be there. That being said, I think we're going to be feeling the golden age rise from now. And I think, like you said, there are some things, we keep being told that there are going to be some things, it's going to look like it's going to get worse, but it's really not. It's just on the surface. And then underneath the surface, it's going to quickly shift. So I think from that point, I think we're there. I think in the next 3 to 6 months, we're going to visibly see a vibrational shift. energetically and within ourselves individually and with other people that we interact with, and then globally. I think it's like, it's go time now.
Yes, yes. Oh, I get a strong sense of
What do
that.
you feel? Yeah.
Yeah, it's amping up in a big way from this moment forward. Like it's really accelerated this shift towards this new energy. And I I think it could even be closer than that. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but I do feel quite potentially, positive shifts happening that are really apparent by 2023, 2024, even. These next few months feel like quite intense, but my question to you is so how, for people that are feeling the intensity and maybe the challenges of this time now, October, November, where, it's amping up and it feels intense and all the stuff's coming to the surface, and, there's all this really, full on headlines of, things starting with N and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know if I can say the word. Yes, I'll just say N and let people guess. But how do you encourage people with your beautiful coaching skills? And I'll put below the links to Amy's fantastic YouTube channel, AV Life Coaching. And so, please support.
Thank you.
Wonderful channel and subscribe and go to her channel. She has so many great videos. So, how do you encourage people who are feeling the challenges of this intensity right now to just, through this time now, before we get to some more obvious good shifts forward, how do you say that they should, say on a daily basis, in a day-to-day perspective, live their day to get through these times if they're finding it, particularly, they might be very empathic, very sensitive, they're feeling everything. What advice would you give to them, or guidance?
So what I would say is understand that feelings and emotions are a result of our thinking. So it's almost imperceivable, but whatever we're feeling in any moment, a thought preceded it, whether it was a sentence, it doesn't matter. So energy always follows thought. So the key is not to control your mind chatter, but it's just to let yourself feel it all. Don't fight your thinking. Don't fight anything. It's really, we're not taught this, but this is how you do it. You just be open and willing to feel everything, because the only thing that really makes us upset is when we judge ourselves. Oh, we should have been in a high vibration. It just happened to me the other day when I got angry with my mom. That moment was so fleeting, and it was like, whatever, we both forgot about it, but I judged myself. Oh, you know how to do all this stuff, Amy, you teach this stuff, you should be back. And then I stopped. I let that go. That's just a thought. It's just thinking. So I stopped my thought and I said, wait a minute, how does that make me feel? And if it makes you feel anything less than joy or good or relief, leave it be there. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to choose again. So it's really what you were saying. It's David R. Hawkins, in one of his books, I can't remember which one, sorry guys, but maybe Power versus Force. He says the key is let yourself feel the feeling to the top. It's like a wave. A wave doesn't stop itself from cresting. The wave goes all the way up, 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 and then crashes back into the ocean. If we let ourselves do that by not acting out on others or repressing or suppressing, then that feeling goes to the height and has to dissipate on its own.
Absolutely. It's a quantum physics thing, isn't it? That it has to sort of release when you allow yourself to feel it fully. And that point that you made, that thoughts become words, words become actions. So it all stems from that foundational point of the thoughts. So being mindful of the thoughts and not berating yourself when the thoughts are less than perfect, which
Exactly.
the monkey mind, the ego chatter, and working on, I think, meditation to raise the thoughts, raise the consciousness, and to you know, when you do meditation, you slow down the thoughts, and you also raise the frequency of the thoughts, and you raise the quality of the thoughts. So when you're doing things like that, I mean, even listening to some beautiful high frequency music will naturally impact your emotions and your thoughts, you know, as we
I do it every night.
with. Yeah. So, you know, there's so many ways that you can, by being proactive, you can work on yourself. And if that comes up for you as a lesson, it's clearly something that you need to learn, that you've chosen to learn yourself. You're not a victim. Nobody's done this to you. You've created this yourself as an opportunity to learn. So really, really powerful opportunity for learning when we have more lessons to learn and more things to learn, which is what we have now. It's all intensified, so that means that we're learning more, and it's more of an opportunity to learn. So yeah,
It's really too, because like what you're saying, everything you're saying, it's all about changing your perception and letting yourself see. I had a teacher a long time ago, and he said, never have any conflict with your mind. He said the root of all our human issues, is because we have conflict with our mind. So when you become indifferent, and I don't mean you don't care, I mean indifferent, meaning, oh, just let that thought be there.
Neutral, you mean? Yes.
Neutral. Yeah, that's a better word. Neutral.
Yes.
You become the observer, right? And really, it's practice, just like you're saying with meditation. It's just practice, because those thoughts feel so real. They feel so true.
Yes, and they have a charge or an energy with them. But I think part of the thought thing too is that we're learning to go into our heart more. So when you center your energy in your heart, and you feel divine unconditional love for self, and you send your thoughts that divine unconditional love, that again will transmute the thoughts, and transmute any sense of inward judgment, you know, that you have towards yourself. So the ego mind is a lower frequency than the heart, and so the more we're able to sort of be at the foundational point of our heart from all our thoughts, words, actions, the more that we will be able to transmute those, you know, negative thoughts, or perhaps lower vibrational thoughts. So just even consciously, you know, bringing the energetic focus from your mind into the heart in
Just go
whatever
like
way.
this.
Yeah, in whatever way that works for you. You know, even thinking of someone you love dearly, and then transferring that love to love of self, you know. Yeah.
I love that. And you know, if you can't feel that love right away, if you're in that negative, you have that charge, just set the intention. I intend to feel good. I intend to let myself feel this energy. I intend. So because the intention lessens that charge. It doesn't take it away. It just lessens the charge. And because your brain can't focus on two things at once. It cannot focus on a negative thought and a positive thought at the same time.
It's true, because they're mutually exclusive. Love and fear, two separate. And the I am statements, I find, are always good. I am, even if you're not feeling it, you say it. And then and it's not, you know, some people might say, oh, well, that's not authentic. But you know, when you say it over and over and over, and you feel the energy behind it, you can't help but starting to feel that. And those I am statements, you know, there's a real spiritual meaning behind those, of why they're so powerful.
It's the door.
Yeah, totally.
It's who do you say that I am? The answer to that, who do you say you are? Who do I say I am? The answer to that is your life.
Yes, absolutely. I was going to say, I am a cosmic rainbow unicorn.
And I forgot to tell you, you have a hummingbird, and I have a hummingbird on my necklace.
Oh, really?
Or
Oh,
a dragonfly. A dragonfly. I'm sorry,
oh, I
dragonfly.
love dragonflies. Well, they're very symbolic, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Yes. Beautiful. Well, I think that we've covered so much territory today with our talk, and I hope that people out there that are feeling perhaps a little bit, challenged by the energies, have been able to have some sort of, positive feedback from what we've talked about today. What's your last perhaps message for people at the moment, considering the energies that we're going through now, Amy?
Believe in yourself. Start where you are. Don't worry about the past. The energy of the planet is rising, and it's always going to be responding to you now. So whatever you can do, just trust, have faith in your inner power. And even if you have a bad day, don't worry about it. Give it over to whatever, give it over to the universe, and go back to self, and just believe in yourself. Even if you have $2 in your checking account, even if you have whatever, it doesn't matter. Just know everybody is a child of this universe. We're all worthy. We've forgotten it to remember, and we're all here for the awakening. And yes, that's all I want to say. We're all here. We're all meant to be here.
Fantastic. I would like to say that when I ask, what's an important thing for me to share at the moment, I'm getting that, when you do anything creative, even if you're doing a picture of you feeling crappy and you want to draw it in a picture, what you're doing is you're releasing it, and you're acknowledging it, and you're identifying it, and you're expressing it, and you're shifting it. So anything creative that you can do that aligns with your joy, somebody might love cooking, somebody might like painting, somebody might like gardening, whatever it is for you that's creative, that you relate to, do that at the moment, because that will shift any emotional stagnancy, and it will allow you to connect with your emotions, and it will move you forward on some level. And often when we are creative, there's a great joy in that. It really raises your frequency. So I would say, look at this background behind me, maybe be inspired by some of those things, and be creative in any way you can. And if you can, I want to also thank everyone who's watching these videos, and all my subscribers. Thank you so much. I wouldn't be able to do these videos if it wasn't for you. Please, maybe make comments below about, how do you get creative? How do you express yourself in creative ways? I'd love to hear, because it might inspire somebody else to do that if they read about it. So
I love that, because so often we argue for our limitations, but by being creative in any way, we're arguing for our unlimited nature.
So true. So true. I really love talking with you. As always, we're going to do another one again in a month.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to see where we're going to be in a month.
I was just going to say that. I was going to say, who knows what will have happened by then. So, yes, let's look at that with anticipation of the positive.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you, Amy. Beautiful to chat with you.
Medyhne, thank you so much.
Lots of love.
Thank you.
And love to everyone out there too. Sending you all love too.
Yes. Thank you for listening.
Yes, absolutely. Bye.
Bye-bye.
The Lord's my shepherd, I'll not want. He maketh me down to lie in pastures green. He leadeth me the quiet waters by. My soul he doth restore again, and me to walk doth make within the paths of righteousness, even for his own name's sake. Yea, though I walk in death's dark vale, yet will I fear none ill, for thou art with me, and thy rod and staff me comfort still. My table thou hast furnished in presence of my foes. My head thou dost with oil anoint, and my cup overflows. Goodness and mercy all my life shall surely follow me, and in God's house forevermore my dwelling place shall be.